Hi, I'm Soshana, and I'm here with
Joyce.
And today we're going to continue the conversation that we had last week.
Yeah, what was it?
It was about
Money.
Yes, it's about financing contingency. That's
there
what it
you
was.
go. Yes.
Financing contingency.
It's a big
period.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big thing.
Yeah. So whenever you're in the process of buying a property,
right?
We were talking about the importance of important dates, or time periods that buyers have. And one of the things is the financing contingency period.
Right.
And
how many days do they have nowadays?
So years ago,
it was like a month or something.
Like 21 days was normal, right? And then COVID came around, and there was this frenzy about all these people competing to try to win the house or whatever. So the lenders actually were very useful and helpful in helping us win these bids, because if they can work faster, then our offers that we could submit were more attractive to the sellers, because then we would end up not tying up the house too long.
That's right.
So last time we were talking about that, we kind of stopped on the financing contingency period, which really I'll just kind of go over a little bit,
okay.
Reiterate a little bit about what we talked about the last time. Is that when you're under contract, or before you go under contract, your agent basically puts in a financing contingency period or exhibit, okay, so that you as the buyer have time to get your financing conditionally approved, so that in that time period the mortgage company is reviewing all your documents and everything, just checking all the making sure that all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, and if there's anything missing, they come out with a list, like a list of conditions, okay? And usually on the list of conditions includes the appraisal of the property. Okay? That's one of those things. In those conditions, something else could come out, like, oh, well, I see that you have exhibit A, B, C, E, but where's exhibit D? What's that? Why is that missing? So we need to understand why there's no exhibit D or whatever, okay? Or if there were amendments to the contract. I see there's amendment 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Where's 3?
We want to see that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Or there may be something that they noticed in the bank statements, like, oh, there was insufficient funds. They want to see, well, what happened there? What happened? Why was there insufficient funds? The bank doesn't want to see things that makes them feel concerned. Exactly. So those are the things that come out. And in that financing contingency, all those things that have to do with the loan getting approved, like final approval, you want to make sure that all of that, or the majority of that, gets done within the time period that you've requested on that contract, for the seller to agree to give you that a number of days, or give your loan officer that amount of time to complete that process. Okay?
Well, I think the main difference outside is that before, I don't ever think that there was, like, you get a pre-approval letter, which she never really included any kind of serious underwriting. Right. It was not conditionally approved, let's say. So basically, during the contingency period, that's when people actually supply all these documents.
That's how normally it's been. Okay,
but now it's changing.
It's changed. Okay, and
interesting.
A lot of that since COVID, it changed. To make the offers more attractive to the sellers. Okay, so a lot of people, what the loan officers were doing were not just pre-approving those buyers, but they were like getting them through the underwriting process, and they call it a TBD, like to be determined, like the property to be determined, right?
Right.
So, like, a lot of the heavy lifting was already done.
Yeah.
So that when we went and shopped for properties, then we didn't have to ask for so many days of financing contingency.
Got you. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
And nowadays, some lenders can close really fast. Like they can close as fast as 8 to 10 days.
Ooh.
You go under contract and, but this only happens if the buyer really understands that process and has provided all the information quickly to the lender so that there's no hiccups. Like everything flows nice and smoothly.
Okay. Okay.
But that's definitely possible. And of course, for a seller, that could potentially be very attractive. It almost feels like a cash purchase.
Because it's that
so fast. So fast,
Yeah.
So, that's the financing contingency period. There's also the appraisal contingency period, okay? The appraisal contingency period is basically like it's the amount of time that the buyer's asking the seller to give them so that they can have the appraiser to the house and determine the value of the property so that if there's any negotiation that needs to happen, it will happen within that financing contingency period.
Same time. Simultaneously almost.
Yeah, exactly. So everything starts counting from the day you go under contract.
Right.
That both parties have agreed, have mutually agreed on the terms of the contract, and then somebody has binded that contract. Okay,
yes.
Or executed the contract. So from that date, you start counting. If we close today, today's Friday, and they ask for, 3 days, regular days, then they start counting. Today is day 0.
Okay.
Saturday is, today is Friday, but, today is a Friday. Saturday is day 1, Sunday's day 2, Monday's day 3. Okay? That's how you count the days in this real estate world, at least here in Georgia.
So they count the calendar days then? Not
days.
Business days. So
if you want it to be business days, you have to specify that in the contract.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be done. For us, with our practice, we have our own policies. Our policy is that we typically put in 3 business days to deliver the earnest money, for instance. And the reason why we do that is so that we know that it can go under contract on a Friday, okay? And if you put, let's see, on a Thursday, let's say a Thursday, and then you put 3 days, okay?
And you have Friday,
Saturday, Sunday, and so it's like they don't really have any days to make this happen.
So if you put 3 business days, it'll be Friday, Monday, Tuesday.
Exactly. Okay, and if there's a holiday, that's,
But earnest money, you already have it. It's just the delivery.
So the delivery of the earnest money. So back in the day, many years ago, okay, people, I don't know, maybe some of the agents may still do this, but back in the day, whenever you had a client, you may receive the earnest money from them before they even put in an offer. And you deliver that straight to the holder.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nowadays is typically different. Okay. Like we put in the offer for the client, but in that offer it specifies, okay, when is it going to be delivered? Within so many days of binding agreement. Immediately, whatever it is. Like you have different options
to do so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
People ask this question like, okay, so the appraisal, right, needs to be done so that the lender can determine how much money they can loan, right? So people ask, so the appraisers are picked by the lender? Or is it totally a third party?
It's a third party.
Okay.
It's definitely a third party. Okay. What I know is that the impression I have is that they like push a little button, boop, and then they have a contract or something with the appraisal companies that they work with, and then the appraisal company sends out the appraiser.
So who initiates that?
The lender.
The lender does,
The
right?
lender does.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that the buyer is going and looking for an appraiser for themselves,
right?
Unless they're buying with cash.
So that, right, because there's no loan involved with this.
Right.
But as far as the buyer is concerned, you can get your own inspection done. So appraisal
Exactly. It's
and
two
the
different things. Two different things.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the appraisal is typically mandatory. Okay.
Right.
There's some instances where, you know, we've had clients where they did not have to do, it got waived.
Right.
Because
right.
maybe they put in a really big down payment.
Right.
So
right.
the bank ended up saying, we don't feel like concerned or anything about the appraisal. So that's not required. We're waiving that. Okay. But typically it's required.
Right.
Okay.
So if they're going to do that, let's say they initiate and then they press that button and then it gets to be sent to whoever. So it's not like in your control then.
Right. It's not. So
if their schedule is full or something, was there any case that the appraisal was not done on time?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, there was.
Yes.
Okay.
That can definitely happen.
Wow.
So, you know, during this frenzy time, you know, that was a big concern.
Yeah.
It was a huge concern. Right. So, you know, it seems like the mortgage companies together with the appraisal companies, they figured a way to make this like expedite it. You know, so there's times that if you want to like expedite an appraisal, they can put in like an express or something and pay an additional fee so that it can get done faster. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are things.
But then they have reasons why they need to work together. Because the loan, like bank wants to give a loan out so that they get like interest payments. So their interest is there. Appraisal companies, they have to do appraisals and make the banker or lender happy so they continue receiving work from them. Right. So my guess would be that they'll do their best to work together, get it done on time.
I guess. But
it doesn't always happen though.
Yeah. I mean, it you know, one of my agents right now, she's working on she has a listing and it's supposed to close. Actually, it was supposed to close today. It was supposed to close today. But I don't know if it's because of the type of loan that it was. It's a little bit like out of the control of the parties. When I say the parties, I'm saying out of the control of the loan officer or whatever. It's like it's at their own pace type thing. And even yesterday, they had not yet gotten the appraisal back.
So then what happens?
And so they had to extend the closing, okay, because it was supposed to close today. They had to do what they call like a 8-day unilateral extension of the contract so that the contract would still be alive, active. You know what I'm saying?
That's bizarre though.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking like, how is that even possible? Close it. Like, don't you have to have everything done before the closing date?
It should be. It should be.
But things happen.
Yeah. You know. Okay. So we were surprised. It's like, where's the appraisal? Why hasn't it been done yet? So, anyways, the appraisal report came in, and the interesting thing about that is that it came in for less than the value that it was listed for and less than how much it's under contract. And so today we actually spent some time together with my agent and we were like double checking to see, you know, we did the market analysis and everything. Turns out that there was a recent sale. Okay. I'm going to say how much the value of this property is. Okay. This is a condo that's for sale. It was for sale for $100 and.
You don't have to give an exact number. Let's say 250.
Okay.
Yeah, let's say it's the value of the condo is 250.
Let's say it's 250. Okay. And it sells for 251.
Okay.
All right. And it appraised for 245.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's another home, a condo that's exactly the same as the one that she has for sale. Except that the one that she has for sale, in addition to like being like exactly the same, hers the owners put in a new HVAC,
which is very expensive.
And a new hot water heater.
Okay.
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 So really,
it has to be more.
Yeah. And then, so this one that just recently sold last month, at the end of last month, it sold for, let's say, $260.
Okay. Then obviously,
so why did it appraise for less?
Would it be possible that the last sale didn't get recorded yet when they approved this?
You know what? The thing is that usually the appraisers have access to the MLS.
Oh, direct access.
And the MLS, it gets updated. It has to get updated quickly. Okay. So in my opinion, that should have shown up.
If they did their due diligence, then it should have.
Right.
If they didn't, then it
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So we had to spend some time because the seller's wanting to dispute that appraisal.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Okay. Because otherwise, it complicates matters.
Right.
It complicates matters.
Yeah, because as a buyer, I have to bring extra money to the table.
Exactly.
Now, which I may not have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the seller may not be willing to reduce the price.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Why would I?
Why should the seller reduce the price when he's done all these things to the property?
Right.
So, that's the thing. And these things have to happen within, like, this negotiation or, figuring out what's going to happen. It needs to happen within the appraisal contingency period. So that if it needs to get canceled because the buyer seller don't come to an agreement or because the appraiser doesn't like fix the loan amount, the appraisal value, right? And they need to terminate, the earnest money doesn't get lost.
That's right. Right.
Or the buyer doesn't lose their earnest money.
Yeah, nowadays the earnest money that they put in is much more than what it used to be too, right? It used to be like a couple $1,000s or something.
Typically now, you can put whatever you want. However, the expectation of many people is at least 1%. Because they want to know that these buyers have some skin in the game.
Right. Serious.
Because if it's $500, what is that? That's pocket change for some people. $1,000, that's nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you have a good chunk of money there, that seller knows that's a serious buyer.
Right, exactly.
And they're more likely to consider that.
Yeah.
So if you're a seller and you're looking at two offers, you have two offers on the table, okay? Both of them are offering the same amount. Neither one of them is asking for help with closing costs. Okay, that looks good. One's looking like, okay, you know what? They want to close within 10 days. 10 days? Wow, that's but I don't know because, I need to move out all my stuff. These are things that they're thinking about. Also, they're looking at how many days financing contingency days they're asking for, how many appraisal contingency period days they're asking for. Okay, but this one here is offering $10,000 earnest money, and this one is only, offering,
$5,000 or something,
$2,000. I mean, it's clear which is the best offer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how sellers look at things.
I think there's that value, right? So you guys, as a realtor, help writing this dispute for the client, right? So if people say about these things as to like, okay, well, there's this like sale by owner, right, on those things, but then or buyers may not want to work with a realtor. They're like, well, I can just go offer it and get the best kind of deal, whatever. But then they're on their own when there are complications like this, right?
Yeah, it's like we were talking about whenever we had the estate planning attorney over, and that was quite interesting because people can do these things on their own if they want to, but it's not until they have a problem that they're like, oh man, I should have gotten a realtor to help me out, because they really are familiar with the process. They really know how to handle situations like this when you're in a bind like this.
And Because sometimes it's confusing. If you're not in the industry, then like, is it my responsibility to do this, or is it somebody else's responsibility? You know, you get even confused with those things. Like, so you don't know who to go to, where to go, like, you know. So.
And this same example, where this property got appraised for less than what is under contract. If he didn't have representation, what was he going to do? Well, how is he supposed to find all the data, do the research, and
there's absolutely no
it's way. You know, and this has to happen quickly. Because time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and it takes us time. Right. It takes us time because we need to go research and find out and make phone calls. Okay. The reason why I knew that the other unit did not have the HVAC or the hot water heater, because we got on the phone call and we called the agent that had the other one listed. You know, agents will work with each other. We help each other. You know, even though like they're not part of the transaction, we are a community. We have to help each other, because you know what? There's times that we need to get clarity whenever we're trying to assess what's a good price to list the house for.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. And it ultimately helps our clients. You know? So, you know, all of this is important. All of it's important. And I mean, for us, it's really interesting. You kind of have to love this, you know, otherwise, have a passion for it. Just like I'm sure you have a passion for accounting, and I can't.
That's why we're in different profession. You know what I mean?
And that's why I've got you.
That's why we're in different profession.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think it's quite interesting. But in this market, there is opportunity. Okay. And I'm going to say this to you. I think what is concerning right now is that, you know, with inflation, things are so expensive.
I know.
Okay. And there's people that are having difficulties. And I'm saying this because I know that people are suffering. So there's some people that are doing just fine. Okay. But there's some people, maybe their business has slowed down. You know, maybe their jobs are not really secure or whatever. There's some people that may be having a hard time making their monthly payments, their mortgage payments. Okay, it's not a good idea to like go into the closet and cry and just stay there and it's like it's frozen, because you know, whenever you are having a hard time, sometimes you don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want to tell anybody that, you know what, you're struggling to make your monthly payments. You know, so it's better to like really like try to shake it off and get the help that you need and not wait. Because if you cannot make your mortgage payment,
you gotta act now fast.
You have to act quickly. Yeah. Okay. And I think back at whenever we had the recession back 2008 period, you know, we were working in real estate back then, and it was challenging. So when I feel what I'm feeling now, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's starting to feel like we're heading in that direction. It makes me concerned, because a lot of people lost their homes back then.
Right.
Okay.
Tons.
And there's ways of avoiding that. But in order to avoid that, they have to like stay clear-minded, like try to stay clear and get the help as fast as possible. Okay. Like sometimes you have to forget your pride and speak to a professional, somebody that knows how to, like, has the resources, has the connections, has, you know, like contacts, so that they can help you to get your house sold quickly.
Yeah. So you can get out of the situation altogether.
Right. Now, if you do that, you know, you might be able to like get out of the situation with some money. Okay. If you don't do it, you could be at risk of losing it all.
Everything.
It all. Because if you're struggling to make your monthly payment, you know, then it may be difficult for you to even get a storage unit to put your things in. Okay? And when they come to foreclose on your house, it's like they put your stuff out. And if you're not prepared for that, the stuff that's taken out and put on the street, and it gets damaged. So all of it gone. So it's better to like get in touch with a professional and get the resources, get the help, and make it happen. Because at least you can come out with your things, okay? With some money or
something like
that. Yeah, exactly.
And I think the reason why probably one of the main things, main reason why as to why it'd be helpful for them to come or talk to a professional like you would be, a lot of times it's happening in your head, right? So you become fearful. I think fear is there because you don't know what to expect.
Right.
You don't know the unknowns. And so by talking to you, I'm sure there are different options, right? That each person can work with. Correct. And getting to know the options that are available, that you're not alone, and that you're going to keep the situation all confidential.
Exactly.
I think that gives such a peace.
And that's something that's really, really important in our business.
Right.
Before I worked in real estate, I worked at a hospital, okay? One of the major hospitals here in Atlanta. And they really emphasize the importance of confidentiality.
Yeah.
Okay? And that stuck with me. And that's something that we are always talking to our agents and helping them understand the importance of confidentiality.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
You have to know how to keep your mouth shut and not be, if somebody refers you business, that's such and such. No. You can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides, you would not want that for yourself.
No.
Like you want others to talk about your business.
Exactly.
Especially when you're going through a hard time,
Absolutely.
It's no fun. So,
absolutely. Yeah. So, I thought it was good, like, that we were taking this opportunity to talk about it, because right now it's a critical time.
Yes.
Yeah. And, some people may be doing fine, but some may not, and, we are really, just last night we were in a meeting, our office, we had a meeting with our agents, and we were talking about that. Okay. And how it's important, and we all feel like it's important, and we're ready. We're preparing ourselves to make sure that we are all ready to help those people that need that type of help.
Yeah, I'd really say that come fast. And talk about it.
Yeah.
And you may not feel it really tight right now, but if you're feeling some pain, I think it's time to talk about it. So you get to hear actually about, what are the options that are available.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, I was kind of surprised because I traveled to New York like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I thought what used to be, right, the prices here in Georgia was cheaper.
Yeah.
Much cheaper. This time around, like New York,
yeah,
it's cheaper than here.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yes.
It's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So the only thing that's cheaper, seems to me, is the housing price here in Georgia. So, when you're talking about, like budgeting and manage your money and things like that, we say a lot of times, we're running out of time. A lot of times we talk about, like, cut your, latte and blah, blah, blah. But that's really not the main expense. Main expense is house and the cars and stuff like that. That's the thing that you really want to control. Right? Because that's you're going to really feel the pain, because it's fixed expense.
It does.
But anyways, and so, talk to her before it's too late.
Yeah. We're ready to help people. So that's what we're here for. Anyways, it's always good. I love spending time with you, Joyce. We have great conversations. So anyways, it's good to be with you. I'm Soshana, and I'm with
Joyce.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks for watching this week's video. If you have questions on anything we covered, or you'd like to ask us, just leave it in the comments below. We love to hear what you have to say about what we talked about and what you want us to talk about. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.